All right, welcome to the third review of the evening. Up this time is Toree 3D, a bite-sized 3D platformer with a few weird elements. That's all I got. Like, we got
Not a
some
lot of
features.
copy for this one, yeah.
Yeah, late 90s low poly aesthetic, fast-paced platforming, 9 levels with unique elements, 2 secret characters to unlock. So this is assigned to Galax for review. So over to him for the details.
So this is pretty much a pure platformer in the PlayStation slash N64 style. In that stuff is 3D, but like the collectible objects are uh, just sprites on flat
It's
polygons.
it's very Crash Bandicoot.
Mm. So yeah, you play as Toree, the little bird guy. You have a run button and a double jump, and you control the camera with the right stick, which was the only real thing you couldn't do back in those days. Incidentally, the run button is by default, I think Y, and it's preferential to or the left face button. Uh, and there are reasons why you might want to move it to be on one of the shoulder buttons. So yeah, it's a pure platformer. There are enemies, but they're just obstacles to your platforming. There's no way to take them out. Um, you're going through the stage. You're collecting the stars, and you are trying to get to the end in a short enough time to get a good rank, which is kind of a more modern affectation. But there were some games back then that ranked you by letters. Um, there are 9 levels, but there are basically there are 4 pairs of levels and then a final level. The pairs of levels are on the level select. They're above and below each other, and they share many aesthetic traits between the pairs. The controls are pretty simple and getting used to, but the time markings to get, especially the S rank, but even the A rank, are actually pretty challenging, and that's why it can be beneficial to have the run button on a shoulder so that you can move the camera while you're running. But yeah, to get an S rank apparently actually I didn't get any, but I looked up some stuff afterwards. Apparently requires some interesting shortcuts. There are 2 unlockable characters. They are unlocked by... One is unlocked by getting an A on every stage, and one is unlocked by getting all of the collectible stars in each level. One of them is a bat who can fly. He effectively has infinite jumps instead of just a double jump. And the other one is a bowl of noodles guy. And apparently they're both characters from other games by the developer. But I didn't look into that too much. Both of them obviously are great for going fast and making shortcuts that would not otherwise be possible, but you don't get ranked when you're playing as them, so it's just like for personal achievement. Yeah, and the levels are, you got your a city level, you got a harbor level, you got an ice level, you got a dark level, dark/city, and then you got the creepy final space. Yeah, no, that's the dark. Okay, you got the city level where it's like pink, but it's a city. You got a harbor level, you got a ice level, and you got a like road night level. And like I said, there are pairs of those, and then the last one is kind of it's already running a bit on platformer physics where there's not always reasons why there are fans all over the place and where they're standing and what they're supported by. But the last one has a more aggressive. The physics doesn't work that way in terms of the scenery. And it's you have to beat all 8 other levels to unlock the last level. So yes, you have to deal with fans, you have to deal with ice physics, you have to deal with dash pads and conveyor belts and stuff. All of which is pretty solid. The controls are precise enough for the purposes of the game. It's pretty simple, but that's kind of the point of it. Which brings me to the few weird elements they mention, which is that this game has light horror elements. In that
was an interesting
in some stages
twist.
you will, huh?
That's an interesting.
In some
twist.
stages you will see a weird image of a Grim Reaper type thing. In some stages, when you get close to certain background elements, they will change to a glitchy kind of scary appearance and start approaching you or enlarging as a droning monotone noise gets louder and the screen tints until you get out of range. And in one stage, there's just a kind of jump scary, not like unpredictable, but they kind of jump out at you and make a loud noise enemies. Which, yeah, is not what you would probably be expecting from this game. But that I think is the few weird elements they're talking about. Which does add a bit of a challenge, especially the if you're not great at being fast, the one where the stage elements are becoming a death wall can be challenging, especially if you're not sure exactly where you're going. And honestly, I think that's about all I had for it. It's not a very long or in-depth game. But it has a little bit of replay value from trying to beat your own time, I guess. And I believe I would normally, and the music is pretty good actually when it's not being, affected by the horror effects, at which point that's also louder than normal. At first I thought my game was glitching out, but then I realized that it was just, no, the star behind me had its face glitch out and had turned into a death field. Anyway, I was going to talk to Adam about the price, but I believe I heard that this is only like $1 or something.
Yep. This is 99 cents. In fact, its price point is why this game kind of became sort of a sensation on the Nintendo eShop. Like, if you go out and look up this game on, say, YouTube, you will find a lot of videos championing its price points relative to its quality. Because, we cover quite a few games in this price range. And they're usually
I've seen games with the amount of stuff in this game and like build quality in general for upwards of $5.
Yeah. So it's remarkable. Because this game isn't the next Mario or Sonic, but it's also
apparently this is a series and this is like the third game in it.
It is. In fact, the developer is working on a new Toree game, which is like.
Well, I hope they don't try to make that one 4-dimensional.
They're making that one after the Saturn, apparently.
Okay. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. If you are interested in it, just be aware that there are some weird effects that might turn you off slightly if you are just there for the happy fun bird jumps. There isn't really like a plot that resolves or any kind of final boss that I have seen. So, but there are some effects that some may find disturbing. And I think that's about all I got.
All right then. So yeah, that'll about do it for Toree 3D. Be sure to tune in after the break as we review Mindsight.